Nerdy is defined as someone characterized by an obsessive interest in something. Xbox, Marvel, technology, D&D, Lord of the Rings, escape rooms, Pokemon, Funko Pop, Star Wars, PlayStation, comic books, Magic the Gathering, Nintendo, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers. All of that is Tech D Rob, host of the Nerd News Podcast, your source for everything nerdy.
I realize you guys are all nerds.
And this is the Nerd News Podcast.
Welcome to the Nerd News Podcast. I am, of course, your host, Tech D Rob. It's a different setup this week than it was the previous weeks. I've been doing it at the studio before now, and I'm bringing it back here today because I had a doctor's appointment, so I wasn't able to stay at the studio. So we're back in the not officially sponsored by Mountain Dew Zero Baja Blast, but it could be if Mountain Dew's cool. Also, you might see this sweet Yu-Gi-Oh card from the starter deck, Snatch Steel, very old card. I was getting all my Yu-Gi-Oh cards together to give to a friend of mine who is playing it once again, playing Yu-Gi-Oh. And of course, you've got your dipping cups, on the board dipping cups. This has been my place of residence recently, simply because I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3 a lot. And of course, very little else to tell you about that, but I mean, I'm sure I'll get into it a little bit here in the next few minutes on the Nerd News Podcast. But as we always do, let's get started with the quick hits. So Gloomhaven is, if you've listened to this show for a long time, Gloomhaven, you know, is one of my favorite board games of all time. I said that really Chicago of all time. But I don't think you can see it behind me, but it is definitely on my shelf back there. Definitely one of the best board games ever made. Frosthaven is a game I've played a lot, but Gloomhaven is on consoles now. You can play it on PlayStation 5. I'm sorry, current and next gen PlayStation, current and next gen Xbox, and even Switch. I don't know how well it runs on Switch, but it's not a very graphics dependent game, so it should run fine. And Lies of P is also now out on PlayStation and Xbox, current and next gen, PC and Mac. That is the Pinocchio game, and it looks pretty interesting. It's a Souls-like game with Pinocchio as the main character. MK1 is out officially now, Mortal Kombat 1. And apparently it came to the Switch, and I'll tell you the disaster that turned out to be in a little bit here. But it's on PlayStation, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and then Switch and PC. Not PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, or is Xbox One the other one? Yeah, Xbox One. But it is on Switch, which you might ask yourself, well, aren't Xbox One and PlayStation 4 more capable? You'd be right. So, I think so anyway. I think the Switch is a couple generations behind graphically, but, you know, it's not. That's neither here nor there. You Suck at Parking is out on current and next gen PlayStation and Xbox along with Switch. Party Animals is out tomorrow on Xbox consoles and PC. Days of Doom is out on Thursday, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, PC, and Switch. And then Payday 3 is also out on Thursday. That is PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S and PC. And then the Resident Evil 4 Separate Ways DLC is out for current and next-gen PlayStation, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. That is just a DLC for that Resident Evil 4 remake game, which was incredible, and I still need to finish it. Little Mermaid is out on DVD, so if you've been looking to watch the, what's her name? Halle Bailey edition of the Little Mermaid, and you don't have Disney Plus, here is your chance to maybe get it from a Redbox. I don't know, I'm not 100% sure. Expendables is in theaters this weekend. Expend 4 BLES. Expendables. I don't know. Expendables 4 is what it is, but of course, they had to put the 4 in the A slot. That's just how that works. If you have an A in your movie's name, and you make a fourth one, you have to put the 4 there instead. You have to. You're legally obligated. So, we're going to take a quick break on the Nerd News Podcast, and when we return, I got a bevy of things to bring to you. Just an absolute bevy of things. Just. Oh, and if you're concerned, I'm stupid and burned myself on an air fryer / toaster oven. I had things on the top rack, And I thought, let's just move them with my hand inside there when the thing pulls out. And I'm stupid. So if you're watching on YouTube, if you're not watching on YouTube, I have a burn on the back of my hand. And that's what I was talking about right there. So we're going to take a quick break. I don't know why I reach for the mouse like I have to press a button to take the break, because I just record this and then make it into something later. So I don't even need the mouse. I don't know what I'm doing. We'll take a quick break, and when we return, the show will be back. I don't know what I was going to say there, but I'll be back.
At TechD_Rob on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. More Nerd News Podcast next. Follow TechD_Rob on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. At TechD_Rob. This is the Nerd News Podcast.
Welcome back to the Nerd News Podcast. I am, of course, your host, TechD_Rob. I am here recording this podcast freshly off of a cardiologist appointment, and it's not, don't get concerned, it's not because I have heart issues. It's because I could have heart issues because I have trouble sleeping. So the sleep apnea test is on its way in a couple weeks, and then within a month I should be able to figure out if I need one. Spoiler alert, I'm pretty sure I do. So we'll see how that turns out. But that is why I was unable to record in the studio today. And I plan to do more in here, because it turns out it's a lot more comfortable for me to sit in a recliner than in an office chair. So that's why that is. I'm still playing Baldur's Gate 3. I'm on my second playthrough. I may have put myself in a precarious position in one of the in my save file. I started a fight with something inside of my my camp area, and I can't escape the fight, and I can't kill the thing that is currently hostile to me. It is a cat in the thing. It accidentally got sucked into the battle. Oh, let me turn off my Discord. I did not realize. Oh, good lord! Quick fire, Discords. I did not think it through, so I haven't played since. I saved it right in that battle, and we'll see how that goes. But yes, I'm still playing Baldur's Gate 3. It's still the greatest game I've played in a very long time, maybe ever for me. It might be my favorite game of all time. I can't think of a game I've played nearly as much as this, except for like Mega Man X on the Super Nintendo. But it's such a good game. God, it's so fun. But I did find time to watch One Piece on Netflix. If you thought about this, it is the live action version of the anime. The anime is also available on Netflix, but keep in mind, well over 1,000 episodes. So this is 8 episodes of probably an hour in length average for every episode. And it gives you, and it's a much shortened version, I can tell you that much, because a lot of the stuff that I looked up about the show afterwards, some of the characters weren't even introduced in the first 100 episodes or so of the show, and they're in the live action version. So it is definitely a speedier version of the show. And I've also heard that if you are really interested in the show, there is a thing called One Pace where you can, what is it called? It's an abridged and edited version of the show. Like, people edit the actual parts of episodes and put them together in a shorter version of the show. And I mean, if I thought I had the dedication to go through that, even still, I would think about it. But I'm just gonna have to pass. That's still too much of a dedicated time to such a thing. So I'm just gonna pass on that. And but yeah, it's a very good show. I enjoyed it a lot. Definitely recommend it to you. I've also started trying to watch Ahsoka. I heard episode 5, which was last week's episode, was included what some people consider to be the best shot of any Star Wars product ever, which is bold. So I intend to catch up on that as soon as possible, and we'll see how that goes. And I'll let you. I'll fill you in if I feel that way as well. And I think it's I want to say it's 8 episodes, so we have a couple more weeks of that at least. One episode 6 is coming out as this podcast, the same day this podcast releases, and then we got 2 more weeks after that. Mortal Kombat 1 launched with the collector's edition of the game, launched on Switch over the weekend on Friday. And it was laughable, is the best way I can put it. The animations of faces look like GameCube style stuff, and it is just insane that this ever got released for $70 as well. A Switch game for $70 better be Tears of the Kingdom, because that is the benchmark for such a price on that system, and it is not. The animations look atrocious. It looks blocky, and it should have never been released on the Switch. It just shouldn't have been. But it is, and it is $70, so avoid it at all costs, and hopefully by the time the Switch 2 comes out, you can, play the game and not hate it on a Switch. We'll see. And speaking of the Switch 2, Nintendo did a Nintendo Direct event. They did not announce the Switch 2, but they revealed a whole bunch of remakes. The Tomb Raider trilogy. Let's see. Mario and the Thousand Year Door, I believe, was on there. Mario RPG. They had previously announced already, but I think they showed more. And Luigi's Mansion 2 was on the list, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And then a couple new games, including Detective Pikachu Returns and Princess Peach Showtime, which they'd previously talked about. No information about Metroid Prime 3. Nothing about a Switch 2. It left, much like most Nintendo Directs, left everyone wanting, to be completely honest with you. So, that is, that's what happened there. But however, so the Switch 2 may have been revealed in Xbox documents. And I don't know how that's related. I didn't read through all of it, but they said it may have been revealed, and also it may have been revealed that Elder Scrolls 6, Skyrim's Elder Scrolls 5 has been released on every possible platform ever. But Elder Scrolls 6 will not come to PlayStation 5 according to these Microsoft documents. Now, they said it's probably around 2026 at the earliest is when it would come out, which is 3 years from now, which is crazy to think. But they don't plan for it to be on PS5. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't plan for it to be on PlayStation 6. Because who knows when that next life cycle is going to get going. Because the Switch 2 is going to be the start of it. And it could happen anytime. So we'll see. Because if you remember correctly, 2020 is when the PS5 and Xbox One S and Xbox Series X and S came out. And that would be 6 years into the life cycle, which is either the start of promoting the new console, or maybe like a mid-life console, like a PlayStation 5 Pro, like the PS4 Pro. I'm not 100% sure exactly how they're going to do it, but that'd be a reason for it to say it's not going to be PS5, because it'd be on PS6. So we'll see. Over the last week, Apple revealed the new iPhone 15, the new Apple Watch, the expensive one is, the number 2 of that one, the Series 9, and new AirPod Pros with USB-C charging as well. Now, and I said as well, because I didn't mention this a second ago, but the iPhone 15 will have USB-C charging to catch it up to the rest of the phone market. And again, it's probably because the European Commission told them that has to change. It's part of their regulations over there. So they've been working towards this for a while, probably. And they also said the Pro version of the iPhone 15 is meant to be a gaming console. So also, if you have a game on your iPhone that is like a Resident Evil type game, a console type game, that if you buy it on your phone, you also have access to it on your Mac, if your Mac is capable of it. So a lot more games are being released for the MacBooks and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see if the parity is there to play it on both of these platforms, because I downloaded Baldur's Gate on the MacBook that I'm currently recording this podcast, and I was unable to play it. Now, this was the early access. Now, on Thursday, the Mac version of the game comes out of early access, and they release the full release of it. So we will see if that is something that is playable now on this MacBook. I will definitely let you know, because I will definitely find out. So yeah, it's interesting to see. That could be the start of a revolution for the gaming industry if a phone, I mean, it is $1,000 phone, a $1,300 phone more likely, So it's not like it's going to replace your gaming console, but it could. I mean, if it's already your phone and you have a way to hook it up to your TV, like you could, like maybe a docking thing for a Switch or something like that, an easy way to hook up to a TV, and I don't see that being a technological impossibility. It just seems like that could be a step in the right direction to really get these game consoles to be competitive. Is the number one thing I'm worried about. Excuse me. So and then WatchOS 10 is now out now. iOS 17 I'm downloading on the phone we're currently recording this, and I'm hoping like hell that it doesn't interrupt this recording just to do the update. So we'll see how that goes. And then let's see. What else did I have? Oh, at the end of its life cycle, Marvel's Avengers by Crystal Dynamics is now 90% off, which means you can get it for about $6. But you have until the 30th of this month, because that is when it will delist and will no longer be available. So it's definitely not a bad game. It's not a great game at all, but you can get $6 worth of fun out of it. I'd highly recommend you check it out at least. So yeah, it's available wherever you get your games, most likely. And then finally, the last thing I want to do is do a quick review of the Nun II. I will tell you, my viewing experience was tainted. I went into this movie, and during previews, I heard a cricket noise. That cricket noise went on through the whole movie. So there are tense parts of this movie that don't have a soundtrack, and it's supposed to build tension. But I just hear a cricket noise the whole time. The whole time. So the movie wasn't bad, but definitely could have been a better experience, is the best way I can put it. Thank you for joining me on the Nerd News Podcast this week. Next week, I intend to have watched all of the available Ahsoka episodes, and I will give you my thoughts. I don't know what else I can tell you I'll be talking about, though. So we will see. I plan to see Blue Beetle this week, so I will bring you a review of that. And by the time I tell you my review, it'll be available to purchase digitally or watch somewhere. So anyway, thanks for joining me. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you all next Tuesday.
That's it for this week's Nerd News Podcast. Follow TechD Rob on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch at TechD_Rob. Subscribe now. More nerd news next week.